What's up, YouTube? Your boy Rob, aka Card Shark. Last time we are talking about a fake ass gambling guru, calling him the GOAT. So why not talk about a real gambling GOAT? In the world of poker, one name comes to mind for me, and that's Doyle Brunson, because nobody has had his kind of longevity, 6, 7 decades in the game. Started professionally playing in the 1950s, still going today. He's in the 2021 World Series of Poker. When other poker players' minds start going around age 50, because of concentration, memory issues, etc., he just keeps on going. He was winning World Series of bracelets into his 70s. He was playing high stakes into his 80s. The only thing that slowed him down was the pandemic. So he's just an incredible legend. Wrote the book Super System, which was originally called How I Made Over $1 Million Playing Poker. Why was it called that? Because Doyle Brunson was the first player to win more than $1 million playing tournament poker. So the guy's just an absolute legend with influential books, etc., etc. And to play poker, sometimes you got to be a little mentally tough. The way Benny Binion put it, tough times make tough people. And Doyle's had his share of adversity. He had to bury a daughter when she was just 18. He'd been diagnosed twice with cancer. Once they said it was terminal. Proved them wrong. His childhood dream was to become a professional basketball player, and he was drafted by the Lakers. But he blew out his knee, and the dream was over. So he's had his share of adversities. And he's also been a bit of a badass. There's stories of Doyle that are not common knowledge, like the time the Security Exchange Commission was investigating him. Doyle got all lawyered up, and he had good lawyers, and so charges get dropped. And there was the time, the Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act came out in 2006. Doyle kept being associated with an online poker room, Doyle's room. And then 2011, of course, the Department of Justice came down and shut down sites like Ultimate Bet, Full Tilt, and PokerStars, seized their domain. Doyle was still at that time associated with Doyle's room, so he immediately cut all ties. In the following month, the Department of Justice seizes Doyle's room. Timing is everything, not only in poker, but in life. And of course, Doyle was running illegal book in the 80s in Las Vegas. Had to deal with gangsters like Spilatro trying to move in on him. These stories are not known. And the other thing is, when a person dies, sometimes stories come out. And the reason is, dead men can't sue. And there's some stories about Doyle that I'm sure will probably come out after his death. But the thing is, if you outlive the people that are going to start talking, then no one's going to know them. And so he just keeps on going. I love that part. Today's his net worth is about 75 million. The one thing we know is Doyle can play some serious poker. Now, he's not so strong on the math, but he finds out what the math is. He talks to the math guys to know what it is. But his strength is clearly the psychology of poker. And I like the way he teaches. He wrote a book called his 50 Most Memorable Hands of Poker. Got penned and published in 2007, Cardozo Publishing. And so one of my favorite hands in the book, I thought we'd discuss, because there's some poker lessons in there. He's going to ignore the math. I always say the math don't lie. But in poker, sometimes you can ignore the math, because you can take the worst of it to get the best of it. And that's what the story is about. So I think that's kind of cool. Doyle's going to do it so wrong, but it's so right. All right, YouTube. So I thought I'd give you a little more background on just what it was like to be a poker player back then. Doyle was playing in Texas in all illegal games. He's playing back rooms of pool halls in bad neighborhoods, playing with gangsters, criminals, quasi-criminals. In one instance, he's in the back room of a pool hall playing 5-card draw poker, holding 2 aces and 2 sevens. Gunman walks into the room, puts a gun to a poker player's head, blows his brains all over the wall. Doyle speculates it was probably over a woman or drugs, but Doyle doesn't stick around to find out. He goes out the back door, as did all the poker players. The murder goes unsolved. Doyle calls the hand the next to dead man's hand, because of course Wild Bill Hickok was holding 2 aces and 2 eights when he was shot in the back over a petty debt, forevermore known as the dead man's hand. That's why in the game of Hold'em, the ace-8 is known as dead man's hand. In any event, since these games are so tough, Doyle is traveling Texas with his 2 buddies, Amarillo Slim and Sailor Roberts, playing at the same bankroll. That way they can play higher stakes, and they have protection against robberies. So they find themselves at the Eagles Club, playing a sucker by the name of Pinky. You know, you got to be tough with a name like Pinky. And well, Pinky's got more money than he does brains. You know, he owns some liquor stores, more money than card sense. And Pinky's philosophy on poker is if you get up a few grand, quit. You know, the stop win. But if you lose, he's got no stop loss. He just keeps right on going. Game could last for days. So Doyle knows this. That's what he knows about his man. And the game revolves around Pinky. They're not cheating him. They're exploiting Pinky's bad play. Now let's find out what happened. So what went down at the Eagles Club? We got Pinky with the 2 red kings. We got Doyle Brunson with the ace-4 clubs. Effective stacks 30K. Doyle started the day with 10K, but now he's tripled his stacks and got 30K. Pinky's got him covered. Pinky raises before the flop. Everybody folds. Doyle calls. He's investing a little to win a lot. It's a proper call. Flop comes down. We have a king, a 5, and a 3. Notice he's made top set. Doyle has the monster draw. Any club for the flush, any deuce for the straight. So this is going to be an action flop for sure. Pinky makes the first opening bet. Doyle Brunson semi-bluff raises. Pinky overbet shoves 27K into a 6K pot. Can't possibly be right. You're basically forcing your opponent to play right, to fold his entire range. This is not what you want when you have top set. You want to make money. You want to elicit calls. You want to make the pot bigger. Sure, you'll lose some of the pots. You know, Doyle will make a flush or straight, and you will not improve to a full house. You lose those pots. But in the long run, you're increasing your expected value. That's the name of the game. You keep score by money. So in any event, he pushes all in. Doyle reads him perfectly. Knows he's not only repping the 3 kings, he knows this man has the 3 kings. He knows his opponent. So Doyle also knows the math of the situation. Doyle has just a 33% chance of winning. And yet, from his perspective, mathematically, he has to call 27,000 to win 33,000. He has to win 45% of the time, but it will only win 33% of the time. Clearly a mathematical fold. But Doyle doesn't fold. Doyle's willing to take the worst of it to get the best of it. Psychology is going to trump the math in this particular hand. He knows that if he simply folds, this man will go up about 3K, right? 27K was the bet, but before that bet, 6K was in the pot, about half was Doyle's. He'll go up 3K because he started the hand about even. So he'll go up 3K, he'll quit the game. Doyle doesn't want that. He knows this player, if he gets stuck, will keep on playing, which is what he wants. That gives Doyle a chance to win a large amount of money. And furthermore, if he turns or rivers this man and picks up the pot, then this man will go on tilt. So he pushes all in. Doyle makes the call. Now you might say, hey, you said the math don't lie. And the math doesn't lie. He's lowering his expectation in this particular hand to increase his expectation in the future, right? So it's mathematically sound what he's doing. You keep score by the money, and he'll be more of a net winner in terms of dollars if he was able to turn or river this man. Pushes all in. He makes the call. He goes crazy. Flips over those 2 red kings. Says, what do you got, Doyle? A set? Doyle says, no, I got nothing. He's like, how can you call an overbet with nothing? You know what I mean? Doyle tells him, I'm drawing. This guy suspects strongly that he's being cheated. He demands the cards be cut. Well, Doyle isn't cheating. Doyle is just playing the psychology of the game. Poker is a blend of psychology and math. So since he's demanding the cut, Doyle doesn't object. And it is a private game. They can be cut. So the cards get cut. And that's when this happens. We get a brick. Brick is a card that doesn't help anybody. But then the river cometh. And it's the 9 of clubs. Doyle scoops the pot. Gets the man stuck. The man goes on tilt. The man keeps in the game for 1 week, loses over $1 million. The primary benefactors, Amarillo Slim and Doyle Brunson. They netted between the two of them about $500,000, a fortune back then.